everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Why I Love St. Augustine, your local podcast spotlighting local businesses and local residents on what they love about being a part of Flagler County, St. Johns County, and Volusia County. So I'm super excited to have my guest, Miss Pamela, with us today. Pam, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited.
Perfect. I'm excited too. Thanks, Macy.
Of course. Well, Pam and I met not too long ago, but she does some really cool stuff that we're gonna get into, and I'll let her explain. So that's why I'm super excited. It's just a little bit different, and she has an amazing, beautiful picture behind her. So you guys are in for a real treat with her story and everything. But I'll let her tell that. So Pam, why don't you kick us off and tell me a little bit about your journey coming here to St. Augustine?
I lived in San Diego for quite a while. I owned Barbizon Modeling. I actually had two studios. I owned one in San Diego and one in Riverside. I was with Barbizon for probably 35 years, developing models' careers, working with posing, their portfolios, and their journey. I used to drive them up to LA to the different agencies and sign them on with larger agencies when they were ready. That's kind of my background. I was originally a fashion design major in college, back way when I was young. So I guess that's always been my love, my passion. And when I moved here to St. Augustine, I decided to, I know it's crazy, go back to college. I did. I went back to college. I graduated with honors with a photography degree from Daytona State College. And I was lucky enough to work with some amazing mentors at the beginning of my career. And that kind of jump-started me into what I really wanted to do. And I'm a glamour photographer. I love glamour. I'm kind of obsessed with glamour, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it's coming back in style. Women like to feel beautiful. Men like to feel, extraordinary. And a camera doesn't lie. So the main thing I needed to learn as a photographer was painting with light and looking at a person's bone structure and bringing out their very best features. And I think I'm kind of an expert at that from my background as a makeup artist, as owning a modeling studio, as an artist and drawing, that I can look at somebody and I know exactly where I'm going to create the depth in their face, the highlights in their face. I can look at their undertones and I know if they're warm or if they're cool. I can look at their body shape too and know what outfits are going to make their figure look the best. Even if I have to use some clips in the back to show the waist, and you're not going to see any of that. I have little secrets of photography, but I'm never going to let anyone in my front of my camera and make them not look their best.
Right.
The experience that they get between me and my wonderful assistants is very positive. And
That's amazing.
love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And you recently did, a friend of ours, Amber, her daughter, she just did her photos, and every time, like, Amber's posted those photos so many times, and I mean this in the best way possible because she loves them and I love seeing them. She's so beautiful. It's not Amber herself, it's Amber's daughter, Ayla, and they just all look so beautiful. So you did an amazing job with that. But it's so cool, hearing people's stories of coming to, St. Augustine, coming to Flagler, and they're like, oh yeah, I come from all these different places. But
Yeah.
you coming from, California and being in such a different world that I think that a lot of us can't even comprehend what that looks like, I did like 2 years of like child acting, and even that was like so
Really?
much, yeah, in Michigan. So it's like it wasn't like I was surrounded by a lot of these things. They just like I just happened to be a child when, Michigan was offering like a tax break on filming. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I was able to be in like Batman versus Superman and stuff. Yeah. So,
I
with like
think
Ben
that's
Affleck and
so
stuff.
important too. I think it's important that acting background, it helps build self-confidence.
Right.
Even if you don't become a model or an actor, it's something that really, it just gives you that inner feeling of being able to get out there. And
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, so I think
definitely. And like to feel like you can be in control and stuff. But what I also wanted to highlight a lot was it's so cool that you talked about, you're able to look at people and you know how you want the lights to look, how you want the outfits to look, and you know how you want to position your camera. And I think that's something amazing that I pick up on when I talk to so many experts is that all of our skills are so different, right? Like I can go into a podcast and based on the other person, I know exactly how I want to navigate the podcast or how I want to navigate the conversation. And that's just a skill that I've, picked up through doing so many podcasts. But I know nothing about lights. I don't know what an undertone is. I don't know what any of this things. Like I don't even know how to do makeup. I don't wear makeup. I don't know what it looks like on me. So it's just so amazing to hear someone tell you, like, yeah, I just look at it and I just know what's going on. And I'm like, wow, it like blows my mind a little bit. I'm like, oh my gosh, we are all so cool. We all have so many different things to bring to the table.
We're born with innate skills, and if you
Yeah,
hone into those skills and develop them, you're going to be the best person you can be in the field you're going to be in.
definitely. So you talked a little bit about you getting into photography. So there's something really cool you do with, flying dresses. So I'll let you kind of explain that and kind of share a little bit on what that is.
So I brought, some of my beautiful dresses here.
Oh
I
my
had a
gosh.
whole wardrobe. Let me tell you, I have a lot of outfits. Because even if I do a vintage photo shoot, I have, Renaissance dresses. I have pirate outfits. I just love costumes. And I think when we get in a costume, think about a Halloween party, how much you change. Don't you have so much more fun at a party in a costume?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
of
Yeah. And
course.
so, even if I'm just doing a beach shoot, like I did one on a couple the other day, I always happen to have a little flying dress with me. Is that crazy? And I put it on my client, and she didn't want to take it off. All she kept saying, "I feel like a queen. I feel like a queen." And the wind is
Nice.
taking the dress, and see the fabric. It just, I don't know if you can see, but it
Yeah,
moves with the light, and the light reflects in different ways. And when the wind takes the dress, you don't know where it's going to go. So every single image is different. Every image is different. And, and if there is no wind, my assistants, they know how to move the fabric, and they're very good at it. So I'll shoot a lot of different ways. We'll be slowly moving the fabric. Maybe we'll be tossing the fabric. And then sometimes I use a wide angle lens and get really low and shoot up. And that means that we're climbing that fabric with all the different folds and of light and dark in it, and then looking at the beautiful model at the top of the flowing dress. So fabric is really magical in the camera, and the right lighting. And everything is very precise. I hate to say that, photography is technical. It is, as much as I'm an artist, you have got to have a logical mind, because you have to know your settings, you have to know your equipment.
right.
So all of that is going through my mind when I'm creating a shoot, the whole technical part, now the art part, and bringing it all together, and then taking it into post-processing and doing the retouching. So I might do a little dodging and burning. Of course, I'm going to retouch the skin. Every blemish is going to be gone. I like to ask my clients two personal questions. We all have parts of our body that we're not the craziest about. And I need to know that, because we're going to fix that in Photoshop. I'm a master in Photoshop. And I think if we're going to do a glam shot on you, why not just make it all 100% beautiful and glamorous so that you feel good?
Sure.
Your images should be printable. They should be something you would want to put on your wall, whether or
Right.
not you do. It's something that it's forever. It freezes that moment in time. And that's why even things like senior high school photo shoots are so important, to get the right photographer. You want to get to know the person's personality, what they like, how you're going to make them look, just absolutely beautiful, because that's a time of life that men and women, or girls and boys, however you want to call it, they're really their most gorgeous.
Right.
So these
Yeah,
images that, especially the flying dress, because they're so glamorous, these are images that you're going to be showing your kids. And then eventually people are going to be like, that was my grandmother. These are pictures that are going to be forever.
definitely. Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I think you're probably like maybe the fourth or fifth photographer I've had on the podcast. And let me say, you guys have like some of the most fun professions to just listen to and have you talk about it. Because there's so many different things that I learned. Like I've taken a few photography classes, but it's like basic photography. Like we had like a few settings to play with, and we didn't really Photoshop, and it was just like pictures we took. Like I still have some of the photos of like we were spelling out our names with like different creative ways to put together letters and take pictures of that and like spell our name. Um, and it's just like it's so fun to hear about the technical aspects, at least for me, because I do video editing, which is, similar-ish enough to
Mhm.
Photoshop in the sense of like I actually do like learning about the details, learning about the settings, learning about the retouching. Like I have Photoshop and I know like basic like cover things some up, change some lights, but change some colors, but that's about it. It's a very difficult thing to learn, but you
Yes.
put in the time, you put in the effort, and you care a lot about your clients, which is why you're putting into so much effort of, learning what really shows their personality, I think, which is a huge thing in photography that only really the best photographers are able to really capture, I think.
I think it's so important too. That's why, just sitting down with your client before a photo shoot, getting an idea of who they are, what they are. And then, once I meet with my client, then sometimes I know it sounds crazy, but I actually, a lot of things come to me in my dreams. They start creating, the
Yeah,
scene that I want to, I almost feel like I'm channeling sometimes. I can see what I want to create. And that helps me on the technical thing. Then I run down to my photography studio and I look at my lighting and I start to put together the whole scene. And I do all of this way before we do any shooting. I already know when we get there what my setup's going to be, what my lighting, what all my camera settings are. And now we're going to create the magic. And it really is a
exactly.
magical moment when we are photographing.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, that's so fun. My brain is the same exact way when it comes to all of these
Really?
things. Yeah. Especially like editing, like I know kind of exactly what I have in my head of like, okay, this is what I'm imagining and this is what I'd like to put out. But when you're talking about a good photographer and having that conversation, it just reminded me when I was a kid, maybe 7 or so, me and my family, we did family portraits. And I still remember like I don't know what it like I wasn't getting like a natural enough smile, I think, or something, and he just wanted to make me laugh. And so he came up with like the silliest joke that he could think of. And I don't remember the joke, but I remember it made me laugh so hard. And now I look at those photos and I have like the fondest memories of them because he wouldn't,
Oh,
and he's like, I wanted to make sure that it looked as genuine and authentic. And I look at it and I see like me as a child having fun, which is the memory that I'm sure he wanted to give me. So it's so awesome to have people like that who care and want to give you the best experience, give you the best memories as possible.
yeah, it's important. And, that's why I never put a time limit on my photography. I think it's really important. A lot of times the after shots are the best
Mhm.
shots.
Right. When they're all
Sometimes,
relaxed.
yeah, when you're closing down, and I've done this little thing where I pretended like we're done shooting. And then we start walking, and then I just start clicking because those are the best pictures. They've totally let their guard down. They're having fun. And then it's like, okay, we're going to begin the shoot now. And they'll look at me and go, okay, they're ready. So whatever it takes to get people to really relax, it's nobody, I mean, I don't want to say nobody, but a lot of us don't like to have our picture taken,
Right.
and understanding, or realizing that and getting to the point where they can totally relax. That's such a magical time to really start taking those images.
Definitely. Well, Pam, I really appreciate you coming on, sharing a few minutes, sharing about all of this amazing stuff. I can just hear the passion coming through the screen, and I absolutely love it. And I would ask 10,000 more questions because this is just such a fun topic for me to learn about. Before we wrap it up, what are some fun things you like to do around St. Augustine? Maybe places to go, events to go to, groups to join, anywhere that maybe someone who's not from St. Augustine or just people who are new to St. Augustine, they can kind of learn a few things.
All right, first of all, if you love history, this is the place to be. And St. Augustine has a special magic. I know that sounds crazy, but there is a magic here, really. And so I would say the first thing you want to do is take the trolley ride because there,
Mm.
the narrator of the trolley ride is going to give you a lot of the local history. And then you can stop off and do the Fountain of Youth. I would definitely do the tour at Flagler. I would do the brewery. I think that's an amazing tour too.
Okay, nice.
But the tours and even the ghost tours, they're fun. They're totally fun. There's a walking ghost tour and there's a ghost tour on the bus too. But I would definitely come here, spend a weekend, embrace this magical city, and take advantage of all those tours. And just walking around is a wonderful experience too. Our cobblestone streets, there's the horse and carriage rides. They're so pretty. Yeah, it's a great place. I love living here.
Yeah, well, it's so beautiful. I mean, I'm a huge history nerd, so being a
Oh,
part of
me
something
too.
like being as close to St. Augustine as I am, I really love it. Just seeing the architecture enough is just like, wow, it's so beautiful to witness. And I love going during, the Christmas lights and stuff. Those are just really fun to like. I just be around that kind of atmosphere.
Beautiful.
Feels so Christmassy, even though like there's no snow and I'm used to a snow like a white Christmas.
Yeah.
The lights still kind of give me that feeling of like, oh, plus it kind of does get cold in St. Augustine. I think the last time I went in January, like we were cold, like we had jackets on. So you can have kind of a pseudo white Christmas over there. But Pam, again, thank you so much for the time. I had a lot of fun. This was a total joy and pleasure to be able to talk and learn about what you guys are doing. It's really awesome.
Thanks, Macy.
Of course. And to everyone listening, I really appreciate you as well. And I will see you next time. Bye.